I don't necessarily think that some women are bitter. I think some women just be acting like a bitch. So have you ever had experience with a bitter baby mom? I mean, cause you got a few.
I got a few of them.
Yeah, it's Dev Hawk. Wow. It's cold in my city, need to make just a roll in the winter. Mommy, he's an L, come and roll with a
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Dev Hawk and
Your boy Prophet Akip.
And this is the Title 4D podcast. Glad you guys are tuned in with us today because, Pete, man, we got a nice little topic we want to talk about today. What we talking about?
We're going to talk about these bitter baby mamas, bro.
The who?
Bitter baby mamas.
The what?
The bitter ones.
And listen, if you are the bitter one, you know, this may be for you. They say if the shoe fit, wear it. If it's too tight, then take it the fuck off. So let's take off with this particular conversation. You got any stories about? Or let's define. Let's define a bitter baby mother. What is a bitter baby mother? What makes a woman have that characteristic? And wait, there are bitter baby fathers too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I just want to definitely put that out there. But what makes a bitter baby mother?
That's why I said bitter ones, because a lot of people use the phraseology bitter bitch in reference to their baby mom and shit like that. But bitter ones, because fathers can be bitter too. But what makes them bitter, I feel like, is when you somebody was left with a bad taste in their mouth. It was bitter. Like whatever happened in a relationship made them start to act a certain way.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So there's obviously different forms of the bitter baby mom, but you said like, so it could be what? A nigga cheated.
He messed the relationship up. So yeah, she wanted to give him hell because nigga, I wanted to be with you and you done fucked everything up. You know what I'm saying? So of course she bitter. Yeah.
All right. So have you ever had experience with a bitter baby mom? I mean, cause you got a few.
I got a few of them.
So we ain't gonna say no names. We ain't gonna say which kid the mom belonged to. So
yeah,
if they watching, they I mean, unless you say something direct. But go ahead. What you got?
What I could say is, especially because I had a lot of my children when I was young. That youthfulness is what kind of like made them bitter, I guess. Because they just was going off of what they were pre-designed to do or taught to do. But yeah, I had some bitter baby mamas. Bitter that we didn't work out. Whether I gave them the impression that we was going to work out or not.
Did you do that a lot?
Did I do that?
Yeah, like did you did you feed into these women's brain that you were going to be with them?
No. The ones who I was going to be with, I was actually with them and catered to them and their families and such. The ones who I didn't intend to be with, I wasn't with. And one of them was actually very bitter, and even to this day has well, I ain't gonna say to this day because I'm off child support, but would always try to keep taking me back to child support and stuff like that. I ain't gonna say always, but there's been times I've been in there. And the times is because either she was bitter or she was greedy or whatever you want to call it.
So, do you still have conflict with her?
Me, I've always tried to keep everything cool, but I feel like there's always a conflict, especially since I'm not the primary parent, or custodial parent as they would call it, and all that. It's always a conflict because with me trying to be a leader in the ways that I'm programmed to be, I'm not always allowed to. You know what I'm saying? I can't say I was actually afforded the opportunity. So, in that sense, I would say they're bitter because you're not allowing me to do what I was intended to do as a father.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, you think that you're the primary parent and all that, you have this ego about you, it makes you bitter by default.
So, if I play a little bit of a devil's advocate on this, right? I don't necessarily think that some women are bitter. I think some women just be acting like a bitch.
Yeah, I mean,
no, like I don't think some of them really got this whole feeling like, you know, oh, I'm so mad that I can't be with him. I think that it's now a form of just wanting some type of control. Mm-hmm. And so they utilize it the best way that they can, especially if they trying to get a bag and they feel like they can get a bag from you. You're not giving enough. They want more. Right. I don't think that they're bitter. I think they just at a point like they're so entitled. They feel like this is how things got to be done, especially for a woman that's seeking, or a man who is seeking child support from somebody. I think that it's just a form of revenge that it comes across as bitter because this revenge could last a long fucking time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we're in reference to child support. So like you might have a woman who like she don't give a fuck about you. She don't want to be with you. Mm-hmm. Maybe she realized that you wasn't the person she thought that you were going to be. And then now that you're not living up to this expectation that she got in her head, it's kind of like, man, he's a fucking nut. So, you know, like you giving me $1,000 a month, nigga. That ain't shit. Like, I know you got money. I know what you used to do. You be out here doing this, that, and the third. Like, I want more. So it comes across as they're being bitter because they're using the child support system to back them up in order to get this bread. But I don't know. But there are some women who are fucking butthurt over the way that niggas then treated them.
But yeah, so I feel like that's what proves to the point of them being bitter. You know what I'm saying? Things could be better, but they not opting into that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I feel like myself, even along with other good brothers that I know, have created environments or circumstances or have given ideas in which, you know, they could operate in a better capacity, but the woman would rather operate in a bitter capacity, which to me would make them a bitter baby mom. Why wouldn't you want things to be sweet for the family that you helped create with somebody, for this child that you have that don't have nothing to do with what's going on? Why do you want to make everything so sour all the time? You know what I mean? Nothing that you do is enough. So it's like, I've been through this, right? With like I said, with multiple BMs and potentially with all of them during different times. I don't want to sound like I'm not holding myself accountable, but whatever the misunderstandings was, created an environment in which they decided to want to be bitter, whether they kept my child away from me for weeks, days, weeks, or months at a time, or had baseless arguments on me allegedly not doing enough when I'm doing the most. You know what I'm saying?
So what is it? That's the question then. What is it that a woman does, and or a man who's the bitter baby father? What is the type of shit that they do that comes across to give them that label?
Try to create these environments, like, let's say, and I know I keep using that phraseology, but like, let's say you have a new significant other that you're dealing with.
You got a new chick.
Yeah, so now they creating this issue. Oh, I don't want my child around that person.
Let's talk about that.
Like, what?
Let's talk about that. I never really grasped the understanding of a woman and or a man feeling like they don't want another man or a woman being around their child. Now, I get you don't want your child to be introduced to many different men. You understand? Like, I get that. So, and I understand a woman might feel the same way. Like, yo, nigga, you a whore. You be fucking all these broads. I don't want all these different chicks coming around my child. However, the way I look at it is this. The only reason you don't want this particular individual to be around our kid is because I may be having sex with this individual, or God forbid, I'm in a relationship with this individual. That's the only reason, because your child is around strangers all the fucking time. You know, when they're in school, when they are, they going to soccer practice, football practice, there's always some strange man or woman that is around, and you don't want to keep your child away from them, but you want to keep your child away from the one who I am intimate with. Now, I think that there are some valid arguments. Sometimes you don't know these people, and they're in the intimate setting with your child. So it's like, I don't know that motherfucker. I don't want him around. But damn, can I not get the benefit of the doubt that I have good judgment as into who I'm gonna let be around my kid?
Well, I mean, the error in judgment comes when they feel like, well, you fucked with me and I ain't shit, so I don't trust your taste in women.
Is that what it is? Like, really? Now, like, now you think about it. Really, is that what it is? Because they know the type of way that they was feeling, huh?
I'm being facetious, but
no, but
that gotta be what it is.
Valid. That could be very fucking valid.
From a man's standpoint, right? With us having the provisionary type of mindset, whereas we are to protect and to provide, right?
Right.
If you bring another man into the equation, and I'm not there, I'm not in this, but men are physically dominant on average. We know this by nature; it's irrefutable. And you have my child around this man that you likely barely know or don't know in the capacity in which you choosing to deal with him. I don't give a fuck whether he was a friend before or whatever the case. You're dealing with this man. You don't respect me. You talking ill of me. He feel like he bishop and he got the juice now. So he's carrying it in whatever way he feel like he carrying it because you're allowing him to. Now, my child is in immediate danger. I'm not being a bitter baby father, but give me the grace to even be able to vet this brother out because you got him around my seed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe in the seeds being around significant others and none of that in general. Like, I understand the stranger piece and what you spoke on, but at the same time, I feel like it kind of got to be a certain point in which you introduce these people. Unless it's something like you going to Chuck E. Cheese with your child or something and that person happens to tag along, they might have a child as well. I feel like kind of that's fair game.
That's fair game.
Once it comes to bringing them to the house and all that, yeah.
So then what? Well, how do you deal with the argument? For instance, my youngest son and my youngest son's mother and I are not together. I have no desire to paddle in that water no more. You feel me? I want her to go find another fucking boyfriend, but I don't want her to be a fucking floozy and having different niggas come around. But I want her to find someone else that can give her all the things that she needs that'll occupy her and make her happy. I feel that if I start to intervene with that because of my child saying like, nah, I don't have this nigga around. First of all, they gonna do what they want. It ain't nothing you can do about it, right? Second thing is, I feel like a comfortable conversation, mature conversation should be had between you and your child's mother and vice versa. Just to say like, yo, listen, you gonna do you. I know you gonna do you. Just until you get to know this individual a little more, don't leave them alone with my child. Being around them is one thing, because if you gonna do something to my motherfucking child in front of, like, now I just want him out of your motherfucking custody in general. You dig what I'm saying? But being around somebody, I don't know. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. But I know a lot of people make that. I think it all comes from just them being jealous. Like I said, they're like, yo, oh, you fucking her. Because they'll never say like, oh, your homies come around. You know what I'm saying? Like, all your homies, they strange niggas.
And even they might even know your homies is degenerates and all that. But
they don't give a fuck. But because the idea is you not fucking them. So it don't even matter. But that bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the nut shit. The mentality is crazy when it come down to that.
I feel like they don't want you to delve into those realms. For one, because they want to be controlling, they egotistical, but they kind of always want that door to be open. They don't want you to be to have a successful variation of who a mother could be to them, because they are the type of mother that they are. So being as though you have someone, a person of interest there, they fear to date that the child might like that person better.
So I think that's what I was about to say. I think a man or a woman just feel like, I don't want my child to think that they're going to start calling this individual mom or dad. I think that's really, really what it comes down to. But that's just one portion of a bitter baby mother.
My son surprised me with something he said earlier, and we was having a conversation, and he was talking about having to ask his parents. Now, I'm his parent.
You was other parent
biologically, but his mother is married to someone now, somebody who I approve of. Good dude. I'm so glad he came into her life because at one point in time she was a super bitter baby mom, and I ain't trying to defame her. I love her, always did, always will. That's we family. How I look at things, you know what I mean? We family, bro. Like a lot of people look at things differently than me, but once we marry bodies, marry bodily fluids and all that, to me, that's the real definition of marriage.
I get you.
I respect the pieces of paper and the ceremonies and all that stuff too, but I'm the original husband in all of these situations in which I have a BM because.
So wait, but I mean, before you go all the way off the mark, right? Your son said he had to ask his parents, so he's identifying the husband as a parent figure
because he is.
Do you feel a way about that?
No, nah. A glimpse, like a little something little, like
a little twinge.
When we first hear it, it's
okay.
I mean, it throw you off a little bit, but understanding order, it is what it is. He's in a whole household where another man is the leader,
right?
In that sense, and my limited capacity in which I was able to be an influence on him. It's not like I didn't want to be in his life. I was extracted from the family dynamic due to the reasons
of y'all breaking up,
of us breaking up, or whatever the case. You know what I mean? And that is what it is. So I understand it.
So it's kind of like, all right. So for instance, it's crazy. Like you be wondering like what you should say, right? But just speaking the real, my fiance, she has a daughter. Her daughter is 14 years old. But I love and will protect and die for her as if she was my own flesh and blood. Because once I got introduced into that household, from the time that she was 10 years old, I just took on the role of being a positive male role model in her life. So much so that I won't even allow me and my lady to have arguments or certain conversations in front of her because I don't want her to think that this is a healthy thing to see. Let her see the love that we have for each other, so forth and so on. But her father, he's present in her life, at the times that he want to be, and I don't take nothing away from that. But I don't necessarily know how he feel about me. It's always been respect amongst each other when we're around, but at the end of the day, I feel like she my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't make her call me dad or nothing like that, but I just feel that when you're in those type of situations, you have to carry it a certain way. Now, I feel he don't have a leg to stand on to say, I don't want my daughter being around this particular guy because, naturally he wasn't always present to even say so. By the time he even showed his face, I might have already been in there a year and some change already. You feel me? So when we start to think about these particular things, I see how a woman could become feeling away. She could become jealous because she don't want to compete.
Right.
And honestly, if you really doing your part, there is no competition. If you speak and you communicate with your kids, there is no competition. So there's no need to be jealous. However, it does. And that shit turns a woman into being a bitter baby mother.
I agree. And I feel like a father could become bitter as well, especially when you look at it in hindsight, right? And you look at the opportunities that was there and the impact and what you were trying to, form, for your family. But somebody wasn't there mentally at that time, you know what I mean? And then they move on and then they doing something else. There's a certain level of bitterness that you get because, I can't lie, it's hard watching other people living lives that you feel like could have been intended.
Could have been yours.
You know what I mean?
So, it's crazy you mentioned that. It's a show, Tyler Perry show. Shout out to Tyler Perry. Nigga's a fucking GOAT when it comes to writing, producing, directing.
I don't like everything you do, but go ahead.
But he's a GOAT that he can do so much, right?
I respect
So
it.
he has a show called Sisters that's on BET. In this one particular scenario, you have the guy Zach and his ex-girlfriend. So in previous seasons they were together. It didn't work out. He met a new chick.
Right.
He was broke when he was with the ex. But going through his little process, he just came home from jail to get his money up. He started messing with this other chick who helped him get his money up. Then he hit real big, got a big house and everything. And now the ex is salty as shit, bro. Like, all in her face. Like, she mad. And then she verbally said that to him in an argument that they had. Like, yo, this was the fucking life that was supposed to be for me.
Didn't he do that acrimony or something too?
I don't know. I'm
Shorty
not sure.
was salty because she ain't want ball when he was, you know what I mean?
But don't change what I'm trying to get at. So, long story short, him and the ex went to have a conversation, and they ended up fucking. And he ended up getting Shorty pregnant. So now Shorty mad that he's now engaged to the new chick living in a nice ass house. She feel like it should be hers now. And even though the ex got her own money, she owned a business and everything, she's showing so many signs of a better baby mother, and she ain't even had the fucking baby yet. She to the point like, well, yeah, nigga, I know that you already hit for like a M. I want child support. He had already broke off with 15,000. Just like, yo, this to take care of, certain little things you did for me. I'm repaying you back. And she like, nah, nigga, like, I'm going to need some bread. So he like, look, let's agree to $3,000 a month. She like, oh, that's nothing. She wants more. I think that is just funny because why should he even have to go through the whole child support process when he's already stepping up to say like, yo, I'm going to be a man. I'm going to take care of my seed. She's only doing it because she like, I don't believe this nigga is getting married. He up now. Everything that I wanted for him and I wanted us to be, he's now living his life with somebody else. It's fucked up because I see just from that TV show that this is a thing that a lot of individuals deal with on the constant. And honestly, I think that is unfair because I look at it like this. We didn't work out, shorty. Maybe I was always down, broke, and not in a particular status because you wasn't capable to build me up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you stressed me out more than help me to see things better. Now I got this new woman. I'm happy. Let me stay over here with my happiness. We about to have a kid. All right, cool. Let me be happy and enjoy this happiness. And she said, well, I hope this bitch ain't going to be thinking she going to be calling my son going to be, or my child going to be calling her mom. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It get deep, bro. Me, I've never been a hater in that sense. Even when I've had BMs that try to proclaim that the next nigga they was with was doing more than me and he the child. I mean, it's like, huh? Like, you know what I mean? And no matter what, I'm solid in who I am and I know what I've done and what I do for my families. But even if my child was to call another nigga dad or whatever the case, if that's the case, then that's what it is. You know what I mean? What can I say? I can't refute it. If they feel that way or you programmed them to be that way, it is what it is. The only thing I could do from where I'm at is do better from where I stand. You know what I mean? If it's even possible to do better, if I'm allowed to, however.
Right. So I think that if my son decided to call another man dad, then I feel that my son he has that respect for this person, not like it's a forced thing, like you're gonna start calling me daddy now, you know what I mean? But it's like
sometimes the moms put it together like that.
Sometimes, right? But it means that you have that respect. But I still feel that even if that's the case, my presence, my involvement, the understanding, communication, bond, and love that I have for my child, that shit would never interfere, and it's never gonna be like that's dad and you are Dev.
Oh yeah,
you dig what I'm saying? Because if it ever gets to that point where I'm just Dev, then the lines of communication has been crossed all the way. But even then, there's nothing I can do but work at being more present and visual in my child's life.
If I ever become Paris to my children, as much as I already went through that,
P money,
whatever they feel like they could call me besides pops, dad, any of the likes of that. Oh, it's a problem because...
What do your kids call you?
They call me dad.
All of them?
All of them. Dad, daddy.
Okay.
Dada. Like, shit like that, you know what I mean? They call me by what I'm supposed to be and what I earned. Because I'm not just a father, I'm a dad. And I mean, a real live dad. So for that level of disrespect, I would call it's disrespect.
I think it's disrespect.
For me, it's disrespect. Just because I've been expatriated from the home, you know what I mean, don't mean that I ain't him.
That I'm not him.
And I might not have the authoritative power and able to delegate in the ways in which I naturally should be able to, but it still don't open the lines for disrespect, because ultimately I put that life spark energy into your mom. I also was there to cultivate that seed that I planted in the best ways that I could, in whatever capacity I was allowed to, based off of me going against the systems, going against your mom, going against your grandmoms and whoever else had an issue with me being the person I was. I went through hell and high water, bro, trying to be a good dad, bro.
I'm sure.
And
I've been there.
I tell people that I got 5 kids biological, but really like 11 kind of logical, because they have siblings and such.
That
and
you've
that any
been
given,
involved in our life.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, people know me historically, notoriously, for being a good father, for being an example of what a father was, because I started early. So everybody who had kids after me, like, yo, you was my blueprint, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Between you and Stiz, for me, was the blueprint, because I'm older than both of y'all, and I just started having kids. But I seen how you always had your kids. We link up, do meetings. You like, yeah, I got little P, or I got the kids, and it's like, all right, that's love, because it's so many niggas that be like running away from their responsibility. And when I see that, it makes me question, how can you still end up having, or anybody that's in that predicament, how can you have a bitter baby mother when you're actually there, showing up to show out and be present? It's not like I don't even know what your kids look like. Like, I've known you for fucking 30 plus years. It's not like I'm trying to figure out, like, damn, P, what the fuck you got? I forgot you had another son. Like, you know what I mean? Because some people is like that, because you never see, never hear, know nothing. So it'd be weird to try to figure that out. But now I got a question. Do you think that some women actually have a right to be bitter?
I do believe that some of them do have a right to be bitter.
Talk on it.
Because, you know, dudes be spitting game and be acting like they gonna be something that they not, you know what I mean? And they be there for a good time, not a long time. So when you mislead somebody, you misdirect them down the path, and they get lost along the way, of course they gonna be mad when you pop back up out of nowhere.
Do you think it should last a long time?
Some of it is warranted, because, you know, it's like, I can't trust you, and you can only judge an animal based off of what it does. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard the story of the scorpion and the frog?
Nah.
Well, the frog knew that the scorpion was a damn scorpion, right? But the scorpion knew that the frog could take them from this point of the riverbank to the other point. So the scorpion trying to persuade the frog, like, look, I'm not like these other guys. You know what I'm saying? I might be a scorpion and all
Right,
that.
let me get a ride.
Yeah, let me ride that thing. You know what I'm saying? Get me across to your mean. So the scorpion, the frog, like, no, nigga, you gonna bite me. You know what I'm saying? You gonna sting me, like, you know what I mean? I ain't retarded. The scorpion, like, why would I sting you?
And you're helping me.
You helping me? We gonna both die in the water. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wouldn't make no sense. So all the cap in the world got the frog to let it take that ride. So the frog started to carry the scorpion across. Y'all be they swimming across the jaw. What the scorpion do? Sting the motherfucking frog.
While they was in the water.
While they in the water. I mean, retarded shit. So
it's like, you already know what to expect from a person.
Yeah.
So you gotta trust the person for who they are. Don't trust them to be anything other, right?
Right.
So it makes me think about, you know, this line of questioning. I could understand a woman being bitter if you was with her, y'all was proclaimed to be in love, we gonna get married, we gonna build, and she's giving you everything that she got. Her mind, her heart, her soul, her body, everything belongs to you. And you just up and leave. Or you had a whole other fucking relationship. God forbid you was married and she now has your seed. I can see her being bitter.
Absolutely, bro.
But some of these bitches, some of these women, no, fuck that. Some of these bitches, bro, I don't get it. Cause some of them like, yo, we went into the situation just fucking. We knew what it was gonna be. Was never gonna be nothing more. Hump and dump. That's all we was gonna do. And then now you turn into Eveline, the Medusa. What you call him? The Black Widow.
Yeah.
You feel me? You just want to take me out and take my life. Is weird. I don't get it. So
Me neither,
I just always try to figure that thing out, man. But I do have to say this. And this is just advice coming from a man to a woman. Sometimes you got to let go and let God. You know what I mean? Like, your revenge that you seeking from that person, that shit is really tearing you apart more than it's tearing that individual apart. And then I know this shit hurt even worse when he don't react the way that you want him to. So you're not going to get nowhere being so aggressive, so angry, and doing all these manipulative and conniving things to try to hurt an individual, because they always say that when you try to hurt other people, you end up hurting yourself. And I believe in karma. Exactly. Karma is such a big thing. So my advice to any woman who is going through something like that, to where you feel like, yo, I can't stand this nigga, like, remember, whether y'all together or not, y'all are essentially tied together by that child. And until that child is no longer breathing, or you're no longer breathing, you will always be connected. You might not be the best of friends. You might not even be cordial. But you don't have to be spiteful and vindictive, because the more you're doing that, remember, you're hurting your son or your daughter's father. And that goes vice versa, man. Homies, my niggas, stop the bullshit with talking to your baby mothers any type of way. Like, man up. Man up so much that no matter how conniving and evil you may think that she is, carry her in a way to still treat her like a queen. Kill her with kindness, because at the end of the day, that's still your daughter or son's mother.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, we all one. I teach that 1 + 1 = 1. We was taught math wrong. But at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of this bitterness actually comes from the misunderstandings of what we think we know. Like, a lot of women, believe it or not, only believe that marriage is when you go ask somebody else for permission to be with you. And when you get a ring and you go through all this ceremony and shit and all that. That's fine. But by nature, in real life, the true marriage, like I said, is when two bodies come together, bro.
Well,
two businesses merge.
I must have been married over 100 times.
I mean, that's how we had these soul ties and all that. But when we literally consummate how you consummate a marriage, you do that via sex. You know what I'm saying? That's how you really make the marriage official. So that's why I try to teach women to be very conscious of who they sleeping with, because men, we got that stinger because we the scorpions. You sit here, men lie with our words. What the scorpion do to the frog in that story? It lied via its words. Historically, men have been cheaters. Historically, men fuck bitches and do all this other shit. So you know what you getting when you talking to this scorpion, when he whispering in your ear. So you just have to be smarter about that. And
that makes sense, though.
You know what
I mean? I know a lot of shit can be said for thinking smarter when you're dealing with an individual. It's kind of like, maybe it's too late. So in future reference, when you're thinking about how you're going to be with somebody, think about all the things that could potentially happen. Don't overthink it to where as though you start treating a motherfucker like they did some shit to you. But look at the situation from one point of view. But I do want to say that, a lot of women who are considered a bitter baby mother, you may have earned that title, meaning you might be on some bullshit. But some of you are just being misunderstood, and that might not even be the case, and it could just be a blame game. So just like we talked about, every man ain't a deadbeat, every woman is not a bitter baby mother, man. So we got to make sure that we uplift our queens. At one time, we like these individuals enough to be laying down with them. So we got to continue to lift them up, because now they raising our children. You know what I'm saying?
And these bitter baby fathers, like, they just got to cut the shit, because it's like, bro, if she didn't do nothing to bar you from being because there's a lot of single mothers that I hear, like, I get this nigga the world. Like, he can come get his child. He can do all this other shit. And they don't understand why I'm going through what I'm going through because I'm actually active and trying to be there. And they're like, I wish you was my baby father.
That's the weird part. I think,
you know what I mean?
I think there's a lot of that going on.
Right.
It's a lot of women who got babies with niggas who don't give a fuck, and then they don't give them half the smoke that a nigga that's trying to do everything for his child. But at the end of the day, guys, we about to close this show out.
We ain't even talk about all the different bitter baby mamas.
Yeah, but we only on here for a half hour at a time. I mean, and that's why you gotta
fun too.
You gotta bring the different topics up as we go. I was trying to sift through them, but I couldn't remember none of them. But,
it's all right. I mean, it was a good jump.
Yeah, man. It's your boy Dev Hot.
Boy Prophet I Kid.
And this is the Title 4D podcast. Make sure you stay tuned, stay tapped in, and rock out with your boys. Let's go.
Let's go.